Question 1. Write 3 and 5/6 and 5 and 2/5 as improper fractions. So first of all, what is an improper fraction? Well, an improper fraction is just a fraction in the form a over b, where these terms cannot be reduced anymore. So for instance, 3/5 or 7/8 or 11/14, these are improper fractions. They're in lowest terms, they can't be reduced, so on and so forth. So we'll start with 3 and 5/6. The first thing to realize is that there's an and between these two pieces, right? 3 and 5/6. And when we have an and, that means we're going to add. So basically, we can rewrite this as 3 plus 5/6. Okay? Now, in order to add these two things, we need to turn the 3 into a fraction. Remember that we can rewrite any whole number as itself over 1. So we can rewrite this as 3 over 1 plus 5 over 6. Now, in order to get this into a form where we can add these two numbers, we need to get a common denominator, right? Since this has a value of 1, we can simply multiply the top and the bottom of this by 6 to get 6 times 3 over 6 times 1 plus 5 over 6. Now when we multiply these, we're just going to multiply across. So this gives us 3 times 6 is 18 over 6 plus 5 over 6. And now we just add across the top and keep the denominator the same. And we get 23 over 6. This is in lowest terms. This can't be reduced anymore. So this is our improper fraction. Now we're going to do the same thing for 5 and 2/5. This can be rewritten as 5 plus 2/5. And now this whole number we can rewrite as 5 over 1 plus 2 over 5. We're going to multiply the top and the bottom of this fraction by 5 so that we have a common denominator. Now we multiply across on the numerator and the denominator. This gives us 25 over 5 plus 2 over 5. And when we add these two fractions, we just add across the numerator and keep the denominator the same. So this gives us 27 over 5. This is also in lowest terms. So this is our final answer. Question 2. Find the sum -22 plus -7 plus -14. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to rewrite this, and since we're adding a negative number, we can simply rewrite it as minus, right? Adding a negative number is the same as subtracting, so we can do that with the -14 as well, simply minus 14. Now, you can think of subtracting negative numbers as the same as adding, just in a negative space. So if we have a number line, right? We have a bunch of numbers here, a bunch of values. We can label this one maybe 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and this one -1, -2, -3, and -4. When we're adding numbers, if we add 1 to 0, and then add 3 to that, add 3 to that, this is the same as moving spaces forward, right? So if we have 1 plus 3, this gives us 4, because we're moving 1 space, and then we're moving 3 spaces, giving us 4. When we're subtracting, we're doing the same thing. So let's say we subtract 2, and then we subtract 1. So -2 minus 1 equals -3, because we're just moving backwards on the number line. So when we have this, all we have to do is sort of think backwards from addition. So -22 minus 7 is the same thing as -29, right? Because -22 minus 7 is it's minus 22 moves. It's 22 moves in the negative direction, and then 7 more. We can subtract 14 on top of this. And now all we have to do is subtract 14 from negative 29. You can think of it as adding 14 to positive 29, just going in the opposite direction. So this gives us, let's see, negative 43, I believe. Yeah, and this would be our final answer. Problem 3, rewrite 5.25 and 3.9 as fractions. So, starting with 5.25, we want to separate these two numbers out so that we can add them as fractions. So we're going to rewrite this as 5 plus 0.25. And now we need to think about what 0.25 means. If we draw let me draw a little bit bigger, a pie, right? Split into 4 pieces. 0.25 represents one piece of the pie, which is 1/4 of the whole pie, right? 4 of these make an entire pie. So we can rewrite 0.25 as 1/4 of the entire pie. So we can rewrite this as 5 plus 1/4. Now we simply need to add these two fractions together. Well, remember that we can rewrite any whole number as itself over 1, because 5 divided by 1 is simply 5, plus 1/4. Now, in order to get a common denominator, we need to get them both into a denominator of 4, right? So we're going to multiply the top and the bottom of the fraction by 4. And when we do this, we multiply across. So we get 4 times 5 is 20, over 4 times 1 is 4, plus 1/4. And now when we're adding fractions of a common denominator, we just add across the numerator. So this gives us 21 over 4. Since these are in the lowest terms, we don't need to simplify any further. So we're done with this portion. This means that 5.25 is the same as 21 over 4. Now moving on to 3.9, we again need to separate these two portions out. So we have 3 plus 0.9. And now we need to think about what 0.9 can be represented as. We can again use a pie chart. And we can separate this into 10 pieces. So let's see, this gives us 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then 2 more. Let's see, maybe it'll be best here. So this gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now 0.9 represents 9 pieces of this pie, right? So we can fill in all but one of these pieces. It's a little cumbersome, but you get the point. So we have 9 out of 10 pieces filled. So we can rewrite this as 3 plus 9 over 10. It's 9/10 of the pie. Now, since this is a whole number, we can rewrite it as 3 over 1 for the same logic up here, plus 9/10. And now to get the same denominator, we multiply the top and the bottom of this expression by 10. In this way, multiplying across the top will give us 30, and multiplying across the bottom will give us 10, and so we have the same denominator as the second fraction. Oh, this should be a plus, my bad. Now when we're adding these two fractions, we add across the top because we have the same denominator, so this gives us 39 over 10, which is in the lowest terms possible. Therefore, 3.9 can also be represented as 39 over 10.